Hare Krishna, welcome to everybody. Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitanamini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are here.
BS Gauranga weekend session. Hello from Canada. Khatte web sessions begin.
Can you put up the 9th canto, Lord Ramachandra's pastimes, please, for reading online? Please go further. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, the 9th canto, where we are seeing wonderful pastimes of Lord Ramachandra, in which we are hearing about, last time we discussed something about Vishwamitra Muni and Maharaja Dasharath. I think earlier we also discussed about Bharata. Today we will do a little reading about and discuss something about the wonderful relationship of Lakshmana and Lord Ramachandra. So we'll go to text 9.10.11. chapter 10, text 11. Raksho athamena vrakkavat vipine asamaksham Vaideha Raja Dukitari Apaya Pitayam Bhratra Bane Kripanavat Priyaya Viyuktaha Stri Sanginam Gati Iti Pratayam Chachara. When Ramachandra entered the forest and Lakshmana was also absent, the worst of the Rakshasas, Ravana, kidnapped Sita Devi, the daughter of the king of Videha, just as a tiger seizes unprotected sheep when the shepherd is absent. Then Lord Ramachandra wandered in the forest with his brother Lakshmana, as if very much distressed due to separation from his wife. Thus he showed by his personal example the condition of a person attached to women. Purport. In this verse, the words Stri Sanginam Gatim Iti indicate that the condition of a person attached to a woman was shown by the Lord himself. According to moral instructions, Grihe Narim Vivarjayet. When one goes on a tour, one should not bring his wife. Formerly, men used to travel without conveyances, but still, as far as possible, when one leaves home, one should not take his wife with him, especially if one is in such a condition as Lord Ramachandra when banished by the order of his father. Whether in the forest or at home, if one is attached to women, this attachment is always troublesome, as shown by the Supreme Personality of Godhead by his personal example. Of course, this is the material side of Stri Sangi. But the situation of Lord Ramachandra is spiritual, for he does not belong to this material world. Narayana Paro Avyakta. Narayana is beyond the material creation. Because he is the creator of this material world, he is not subject to the conditions of the material world. The separation of Lord Ramachandra from Sita is spiritually understood as Vipralambha, which is an activity of the Hladini potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, belonging to the Shringar Rasa, the mellow of conjugal love in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has all the dealings of love, displaying the symptoms called Satvika, Sanchari, Vilapa, Murcha, and Unmada. Thus, when Lord Ramachandra was separated from Sita, all these spiritual symptoms were manifested. The Lord is neither impersonal nor impotent. Rather, he is Satchitananda Vigraha, the eternal form of knowledge and bliss. Thus, he has all the symptoms of spiritual bliss. Feeling separation from one's beloved is also an item of spiritual bliss. As explained by Srila Swarupa Damodara Goswami, Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti Hlati Shakti Smat. The dealings of love between Radha and Krishna are displayed as the pleasure potency of the Lord. The Lord is the original source of all pleasure, the reservoir of all pleasure. Lord Ramachandra therefore manifested the truth both spiritually and materially. Materially, those who are attracted to women suffer, but spiritually, when there are feelings of separation between the Lord and his pleasure potency, the spiritual bliss of the Lord increases. This is further explained in Bhagavad Gita. Avajananti ma mudha mahanushim tanuma shritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. One who does not know the spiritual potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead thinks of the Lord as an ordinary human being. But the Lord's mind, intelligence, and senses can never be affected by material conditions. This fact is further explained in the Skanda Purana as quoted by Madhvacharya. Nitya Purna Sukha Jnana Swarupo Asauyato Vipuhu Ata Asya Rama Iti Akhya Tasya Dukkam Kuton Vapi Tatapi Loka Sikshartham Adukho Dukka Vartivat Antarhitam Lokatrishya Sitam Asit Smaran Iva Jnanapanarthan Punarnitya Sambandha Swatmanah Shriyah Ayodhyaya vinirigachan sarvalokasya cheshwara pratyaksham tu shriya sardham jagamanadip avyayah nakshatramasa ganitam Trayodasha Sahasrakam Brahmaloka Samam Chakre Samastam Kshiti Mandalam Ramo Rama Rama Iti Sarvesham Apavattada Sarvo Rama Mayo Loko Yada Ramastu Apalayat. It was factually impossible for Ravana to take away Sita. The form of Sita taken by Ravana was an illusory representation of Mother Sita or Maya Sita. When Sita was tested in the fire, this Maya Sita was burnt and the real Sita came out of the fire. The further understanding to be derived from this example is that a woman, however powerful she may be in this material world, must be given protection. For as soon as she is unprotected, she will be exploited by Rakshasas like Ravana. Here the words Vaideha Raja Duhitari indicate that before Mother Sita was married to Lord Ramachandra, she was protected by her father Vaideha Raja. And when she was married, she was protected by her husband. Therefore, the conclusion is that a woman should always be protected. According to the Vedic rule, there is no scope for a woman's being independent. Asamaksham. For a woman cannot protect herself independently. Om Tat Sat, Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Srila Prabhupada ki Nittai Guru Premanande. So we are poised to discuss this very beautiful, wonderful stanza from the Bhagavatam. I also like to recollect from this the wonderful relationship of the Lord with many of his devotees. Here we can see the relationship of the Lord with Lakshmana, because Lakshmana, helped Ramachandra very much in his distress. And the shloka says that he was very attached, Stri Sangi, and because of that he's suffering. Or rather, Prabhupada is explaining that because he wanted to show the world that if you remain attached to a woman, how your spiritual life can be seriously endangered. The design of the world has got a purpose, and many of these things have got a purpose. And if we don't properly follow the design, then we can be in trouble. So that trouble that Lord Ramachandra went through to the external world, the lesson is don't be attached. But not to think that the Lord is suffering. The Lord is performing a pastime wherein he is enjoying internally. So his internal enjoyment is Prabhupada explained very nicely. Vipralamba Bhava. He is enjoying separation from Sita. What that means, that is, what does separation mean in the spiritual realm, is also explained very beautifully by Prabhupada in the purport that we read. So there are several things to understand in this. I will not go into great detail about womanhood and other things that's mentioned. But we should definitely utilize Lord Ramachandra's pastimes are filled with instructions for human beings. Good and bad instructions. What you should not do and what you should do. So it's a beautiful, wonderful epic meant to make people fall in love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, behave and adopt a lifestyle that will lead you to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the real purpose. The purpose is not to sit and imitate everything that people do in the old Ramayana. Purpose is to take lessons. This is very important for us to know, because nowadays people are very keen on becoming somebody whom they follow. It's a very dangerous propensity in the material world. The propensity to want to be in the shoes of that person whom you admire. That is a materialistic tendency. The right thing is to actually follow that person. To be happy to follow and serve that person is the right attitude we should look for. And that is a spiritual attitude. That is a servitorship attitude. That will lead you to servant leadership. Everybody should be somehow or the other inspired in their leadership by service. That's what we can learn. The service of Lakshmana for Ramachandra is very amazing to note. It's very, very amazing to note. Starting from his young age, always Lakshmana found immense pleasure in simply serving his brother, his elder brother. Rarely nowadays do we find anything like that. He was simply getting pleasure out of it. So also Bharata, he just wanted to get pleasure out of serving Rama. When Kaikai told him that I have done all this for you, you become the king. Rama, I have sent him to the forest. Your father in separation from Rama has left his body. But anyway, you got the kingdom. I did all this for you. Immediately Bharata said, you vile woman, you greedy woman, you're not fit to be my mother. That wonderful, virtuous Rama, who's filled with beautiful qualities, whom everybody likes, you banished him to the forest. You think I'm going to take the kingdom in his absence? I want to punish you by not taking the kingdom, going to the forest, bringing Rama here, installing him on the throne. And he just rejected his mother. He said, you're no more my mother because you've done this to Rama. I have only one intention, to serve Rama, to see him on the throne, and I want to serve him. This was Bharata's expression to Kaikai. These are the wonderful things that come out of. I am not going to imitate Rama. I am not going to be, if given a chance to imitate Rama, occupy his throne, occupy his position, jump into it. No, I am not going to do that, because at heart, deeply inside, I admire him. And the best way to keep that going, which is very inspiring to me and help me in the goal of life, is to serve him and never be tempted to occupy that position. So it's very common in this world that we try to occupy the position of those persons whom we admire, even spiritually. Prabhupada warned against this even in his own community. He, one of his very senior devotees, he condemned and chastised by saying, so-and-so is a madman. He wants to initiate while his guru is in earth on the planet. the etiquette is you must initiate only after he has left, or unless otherwise he has given some specific instruction to do so. So Prabhupada said that he is interested. He gave an indication that he is interested in imitating me even while I'm here. And then you will see many cases in the material world. You know, John Lennon, the Beatles man, was killed by a person who dressed exactly like him, had the same haircut, hair, goggles, and everything. He is known to have killed him, saying that I am the real. What about Paundraka? You know, Paundraka came to Krishna and stuck his, two arms holding Sudarshan Chakra, came to Krishna, was so absorbed in Krishna's form that he came and told him, I am the real Vasudeva, not you. And then Krishna burst out laughing and decided to give Paundraka that form. So he cut off his head with the Sudarshan Chakra. He liberated him. He got Salokya Mukti. Sarupya Mukti. Same Rupa, form of the Lord. When you do that to Krishna, Krishna gives you credit for it. Oh, you thought about me and you got absorbed in my form. That is transcendental and absolute. So here it is, you like it, you take it. So in Sarupya Mukti in Vaikuntha, there are many who feel attached to the form of the Lord, and they get the same form, four-handed. Everything is same except Shivatsa is not there on the chest. Lakshmi is not there on the chest. So the form of the Vaikuntha Vasis are very, very clearly the same form as the Lord. See? So I'm not blaming that. That is also a legitimate one form of mukti. But a pure devotee of the Lord does not even desire that mukti, the Bhagavatam says. He simply wants to serve the Lord. So Bharata was simply interested in serving the Lord. He rejected Kaikeyi's proposal that you take the kingdom and I've done so much of hard work for you. Similarly, Lakshmana, right from the first day Vishwamitra came, he just coolly decided, I don't do anything else but accompany Rama. I have to go. If Rama is going, I have to go. That's all, period, full stop, no discussion required. I need to serve. So Lakshmana, accompanied Rama. Accompanied Rama. When Rama got married also, they also got married. It's very interesting that Janaka Maharaja's brother Kushadvaja, Sita gained the hand of Rama by his stringing the bow and breaking it. Shiva's bow, he broke. That's a beautiful story, we'll recollect. And then Kushadvaja proposed that he is getting married. Why not, others also get married, your other brothers? Because Janaka Maharaj anyway is my very good friend. So Janaka Maharaj, Dasharath had a very good relationship. So Janaka Maharaj recommended So Sumitra, Mandavi, Shrutakirti, Sumitra got married to, Urmila. Urmila got married to Lakshmana. Mandavi got married to Bharata. And Shrutakirti got married to Shatrughna. And of course, Sita got married to Rama. So such was the following that he's getting married, I also get married. It's not imitation. And the Lord was fine with it. So following, Lakshmana especially was such a follower of Ramachandra, very wonderful. So they went to the forest, they got banished into the forest. And Lakshmana, it's mentioned, stayed awake. Guhan was please tell me. After Guhan confirmed that Bharata has not come with his army to take over, but he's coming to call him back to rule the kingdom, Guhan was very moved with Bharata. And then, enjoy it. It's such a great opportunity. This is the goal of my life. This is what I was thinking. I wanted to become the Prime Minister of India. I want to become the, Lord and everything of Ayodhya. This is all the things that people will be thinking of. They get the chance to grab it like nothing. But Bharata, he said that the eldest son should become the king. That is the practice. Why are you, mother, trying to do this against the rule and the law? You are a perpetrator of this type of action against the law, so I don't follow you. This is how he came. So when Guham understood the determination of Bharata to bring back Rama and put him on the throne, he was very moved by this glorious, noble principle, full of dharma. You see how society, we should praise those people who uphold dharma, which is normally not occurring. But this, of course, is times when people just did not do dharma. So Guhan was very happy with Bharata. And Bharata asked, what did you do in the night? Where did he sleep? He said, I gave him a So they made a grass bed, spread some grass on the ground under the tree, and Sita slept. And then I told Rama, I told Lakshmana, where will you sleep? He said, I will not sleep. If my brother and his wife, good wife, are going to be in this situation in open sky, sleeping, it is my duty to protect them. So it seems he never slept in the nights. He was always keeping watch over Rama throughout the forest period. Can you imagine that? No sleep in the night. He would just keep his bow and he stood there, guarding Rama sleeping with Sita. Amazing. That was his service. That was his service. So you will see that in the process of our service, sometimes we become a little too service oriented. To the forest after meeting with Guha arranged, and they were coming towards the forest one fine day where Lakshmana and Rama were and everything. One fine day they found this dust being raised and dust coming out of the forest and animals running helter and skelter and a lot of hullabaloo. And say, what's happening? Some army is coming. I see something is happening. Can you get on top of the tree and see? So Lakshmana got on top of the tree. He got on top of the tree and started seeing here and there. Then he could see, oh my gosh, there is a whole army coming. And Rama was standing watching. There's a whole army. And it looks like it is Bharata who's coming. Let me look. Then Rama said, see carefully, there must be a flag. And then he said that, yes, there is a flag. That tree flag, the symbol of the tree. And so he's coming. Get ready, my dear brothers, string your bows. I'll also come. This rascal Bharata, he has come with a whole army. He must have got coronated. And he is coming to make sure that after 14 years you don't return. And he wants to fight you and finish you with the army so that he can be the sole enjoyer of the kingdom. That is his plan. See how I will send him to Yamaloka. I will finish him and I will kill Kaikai also and all those people who supported him. And I will send him all sorts of things he started saying. He's just assumed that Bharata is like this and started saying so many things. And Ramachandra, he said that, my dear brother, why is it that Bharata would come and want to be doing this? Why should he do that? And why do you think that Bharata I will do anything against my brothers. You think that you are saying that I will kill him and I won't do anything. I won't enjoy a kingdom that you're given me after killing my brother. I'll never do anything against my brothers. I want to live with my brothers. I want to enjoy everything with my brothers. For me, living with my brothers is everything. He first said that, step by step. Then he said that, and you're thinking that Bharata is coming all the way here to take the kingdom? I think he's coming to see me. And then he even conjectured, maybe Father is also coming. Maybe Father is coming with him, but I don't see Father's this thing. I see Father's elephant, but there's nobody on top of it. And in this way they were looking at, but Lakshmana, next beating he was going to get chastisement was what? From Ramachandra saying that, Lakshmana, you're thinking like this about Bharata is not at all nice. How you think like this about your dear brother is such a wonderful person. He has come from his native place and he has found this is what has happened. As soon as he has heard that I've been exiled to the forest, he is coming here to take me back. That would be consistent with Bharata's nature. Because I know Bharata, I know his heart. He is coming here to call me back to the kingdom to rule. He doesn't want. If you are interested in the kingdom, Lakshmana, I can tell Bharata, give the kingdom to you. You can go and rule. Bharata can stay with me here. A sharp comment he made. Lakshmana shrank into his body and Ramachandra noticed it. And Lakshmana immediately started saying, maybe Father, he is bringing Father to see us. He started changing. He felt very much that I had this type of a view about my brother. How did I do that? And because of Ramachandra's presence, able to understand that there is another reason, a genuine reason, why Bharata would be coming. Why assume that reason, which is so much anathema to us brothers living together and to our father and his affectionate showers? Everything is unnatural to think like that. Why not think the natural thing? We have never been able to see Bharata after my father passed away or before that. How can we assume all these things? We tend to assume things in the absence of a person. The less you are in contact with the person, the more negatively you think about him. This is a very amazing phenomenon, right? So, Lakshmana, he had a completely different paradigm of thinking, totally different. And Ramachandra had a completely different thinking, which was the right thing. So we want to always associate with people who think right, who know what's happening, why it is happening like that. And our mind goes crazy this way, that way, everything. Look at even Lakshmana thinking like this. So crazy. If we follow our mind, we can become crazy. We're always driven by Maya through the mind to think crazily opposite things to what's happening. The paradigms are totally different. This is the meaning of material life. Material life means being driven by the mind. Mano rathena sati dhavato bahi. The mind is where the three modes impinge. They produce those thoughts. And you want me to stop? Maharaj suggests you take a minute to check settings on Mac. Video is lagging too much. Can't do anything about it. It's the same settings. I've not changed anything. Maybe we can think about energizing the other camera and choosing what about can you see the
Maharaj, is it connected to BV Academy Wi-Fi, Maharaj?
I don't know. I tried the other one. Sometimes the other one would work better. It's okay. Let's do what is it. I can't help it. So then he told, very wonderfully, he said, he told Bharata that you are simply becoming angry. Ambam chakaikayim rushya parusham chapriyam vadan prasadaya pitaram shriman rajyam me dhatumagatah. Prosperous Bharata would have become angry at and spoken very harshly and bitterly to his mother Kaikai. Having satisfied our father, he has come to give me the kingdom. That's what Rama tells about Bharata's coming. Prapta kalam yad esho asman bharato drashtumichati asmasu manasapi eshana priyam kinchida charet. You know, Bharata, his quality, it is the right time that our Bharata wants to see us. Even in his mind, he would never do anything displeasing to us. Asmasu manasapi esha na apriyam kinchid acharet. Na apriyam. Anything which we don't like, he will not even think in his mind, Bharata. What to speak of your saying that he has come for taking away the kingdom? That is most inappropriate. And then Ramachandra Bhagavan goes further to tell him, if you want the kingdom, yadi rajyasya hetostvam imam vacham prabhashase bakshayami bharatam drishtva rajyam asmai pradiyatam. Very beautiful. He said, if you think that you want the kingdom, and for that's only you're planning, and you want to kill Bharata, and then think of this thing. If you're thinking like that, I can tell Bharata to give the kingdom. You see, yadi rajyasya hetoho tvam you imam say, for that sake you're talking. Bakshayami bharatam drishtva. When I see Bharata, I will tell him, Bakshayami rajyam asmai pradiyatam, to give the kingdom to you. And he will say yes. He will not even argue with me. He will say yes. That's Bharata. What a chastisement he gave Lakshmana. Lakshmana was immediately told by Ramachandra, get down from the tree. Come down here and do what I told you to do. Immediately Lakshmana got down from the tree and he stood in front of Rama with his hands folded, completely surrendered to Rama. You see, when we are caught that our paradigms are totally different and we have done something totally crazy, we then start defending ourselves. No, it's because of this. What do you think? You know better or something? False ego affects you so much that having realized that you thought in a completely 180 degrees different direction and your whole perception is wrong, you're taught about the right thing. You should be willing to accept. That's the next thing. One thing is to be carried away. Of course, Lakshmana is not carried away by 3 modes or something. It's a pastime of the Lord. But for us, we get carried away. We get a totally different idea sometimes about people. I have personally seen that happening by people who are followers or who are followers of this or that. How they change perception. The world is ruled by perceptions created by Maya. And we should be very careful not to fall into the trap of Maya by falling into one of these traps of perceptions. And there are people who fuel it. And they are all in the same perception and they want you also to come into that perception. They woo you into it. And they tell you this is like this is like this, person is like this, person is like that. Do you understand? Now we should think like us. It's called group think. Everybody falls into the trap. They all think the same, and Maya makes them all think the same and make them perform some activity which is totally against the reality. The world is obsessed with that now. All sorts of these biggies, big tech companies, they are introducing a certain type of stuff, immersed and obsessed in technology. They are so impersonal, and people are no more important. It's money, it's technology, it is so-called advancement, and people are suffering, but they are thrusting that paradigm on the entire world. Their paradigm of a small percentage, 1% of the people handle 45% of the wealth of the world, and they dictate terms. They dictate what should happen, what should not happen. And this whole pandemic, we are seeing that many people are manipulating the pandemic, and they're making huge amounts of money. Like I told you earlier, 657 billionaires in America increased their income by 44% last year during the pandemic. And this year they're expected to be more. One company, BlackRock, they were $6 trillion. They became $23 trillion. Can you just imagine in 1 year? By putting the investment in the right places. And all along, people are struggling with pandemic. They are dying, their family members are dying, they have no jobs, they are so insecure, they have no food to eat. And a different time is being forced on everybody. Even in our country, people are into technology and advancement and modernization, but down the line, many of them, farmers and others, don't have food to eat. They don't have, many things, because their whole lifestyle has been forcefully changed. A natural lifestyle where they cultivate, they are looked after by nature's resources, and they don't depend on anybody. They don't need this economy actually. For fear that such people will go out of that hold, that type of economy that they have based on growing food and looking after each other, that individual capacity that each one has is being turned into a mass capacity, mass farming, mass production and everything. For what? For what? It's all based on money. So everybody is being thrust with a certain paradigm, and everybody is stuck in that paradigm. They don't know how to live it. They suffer so much. So that's why Prabhupada said we must introduce simple living, high thinking. Everybody can chant Hare Krishna, grow your own food, keep on cow. And you don't have to worry about this economy at all. You'll never be hungry. Krishna will provide for you. This is a natural setup. This is natural, but we are addicted to technology, to devices, to the economy, to the money, and to the lifestyle that we have. And that is imposed on us. That is imposed on us by some who have all the money. This is the way it's working. Maya is working like this. And we're all forced to be in that perception. And then over a long period of time, after many hundreds of years, they'll realize that that is wrong. Like right now, they're saying the Industrial Revolution created havoc in everybody's lives. It made us completely change our natural way of living off the earth, living a pure, pristine, wonderful life. So we should be very careful about Maya's paradigms that is imposed on us. Only one who has read the Bhagavad Gita, only one who has read the Bhagavatam, only one who has actually understood this wonderful pastimes of the Lord properly can understand. Even Lord Ramachandra, he went to the forest and he loved to stay in the forest. He refuses Bharata. I'm not going to come. I'm not going to come. And even Jabali goes to the extent of arguing, what do you mean by not coming, as it's so important to stay in the forest? It's not a big thing that you're saying, I would hold my vow of my father. What do you mean, vow of your father? I mean, if your brother who is supposed to be the king is coming and saying he doesn't want to be king, it's your duty as elder brother to go. And Ramachandra chastised Jabali. You don't know what you're talking. and Javali had to withdraw. And Vashishta came in support of Javali, because they say, what logic is that you're saying? But the Lord very clearly indicated that my plan works. I'm going to be in the forest here to save all the sages. Paritranaya sadhunam. I have come to destroy all these Rakshasas and elements like this. And there's Ravana who is going to die after he kidnaps Sita. I have a lot of plans to do. Then I'll come back. And then I will rule. I have my plan. I'm coming back. But I have things to do. I have come here for that purpose. So Bharata can very well go and rule till then. There is no problem about that. And if Bharata feels the other way, we can make some adjustments. That's how his sandal was given. And Bharata said, real rulers, and I will rule in bark with matted locks of hair. I'll stay away in Nandagram, and from there I will rule. I will never enjoy any royal comforts since you are in the forest. So he was eating barley soaked in urine, cow urine, for all the time for 14 years. I'll follow the same austerity, more austerity. Let my mother know this. She thought I will enjoy the royal throne. I will do the right opposite of it. I'll do exactly what you're doing in the forest, and even worse, so that she will understand what she has done. So Kaikeyi really repented. She was completely lost because Bharata upheld the right understanding of Lord Ramachandra and smashed the Maya paradigm that Kaikeyi wanted to impose. She became an instrument of Maya. Mantara was the cause of it. So there are Maya's instruments around us. Sometimes weak devotees become the instrument of Maya, and they introduce negativity, and they introduce all these things inside. We must be very wary of it. And they don't know what they are doing also. They don't know that they are strongly under the grips of Maya. But they talk a wrong philosophy. They will, under the authority himself, do something wrong and perpetrate rumors and everything. These are all very common in this world. And even in the ISKCON world, it's common. Because we are not like, all of us don't have a halo around our head and we hang around as pure devotees or what. We are all susceptible to Maya. It is just that by the shelter of Krishna, we can ward off Maya to a great extent. But if you don't take shelter, there's a good chance that it will just swallow you. So Lakshmana, he was totally lost when he was saying these things, and just, Rama stopped and says, stop it, get on. That's not it. And he severely conditioned him. And Lakshmana was very happy with what Rama did to him. I need to have somebody like this above me. I need an authority like this to me to strongly chastise me and tell me. But in Kali Yuga, if you do that, that person will get so angry with you. Who will, if he's especially not a very intelligent person, he will leave you and go away. He may be your disciple, maybe this, like, Navayogendra Maharaj was saying, I'm missing Prabhupada and his chastisement. Nowadays, I'm so afraid of chastising my disciples because if one thing I say, they will go away. So much weak, so tender. So Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam tell us how to be vigilant. You can see Lakshmana, how he was vigilant. Similarly, Lakshmana's character is so wonderful. Lakshmana suffered a lot of austerity, tremendous amount of austerity. Lakshmana and Bharata. But it's mentioned by Sri Vaishnava Acharyas that Lakshmana was more fortunate because he got to stay with Rama, see him every day, his beautiful countenance, his beautiful form. And in this way, he was happy. But then he was also challenged in his service so much and many, many times. Like this, he lost his whole thought in a different way. But the worst came when Ravana came to kidnap. And Ravana had exactly planned, because Maya's agent is Ravana. And what he planned was something that was inspired by Maya. It took place exactly like that. When Ravana went to meet Marichi, and when Shurpanaka came and cried to Ravana saying that this is what they have done to me. And then I went and told Khara and Dushana, my brothers, And they got so angry and they said, we'll teach the fellows a lesson. Who are they? Rama and Lakshmana, we'll finish them. And they went there and they had 14 huge generals, powerful generals were sent. And all of them were walloped by Rama single-handedly. Single-handedly, he finished thousands of soldiers and all the great generals. Kara and Dushana were dead. The Shurpadagana could not believe this. Oh my gosh, what a warrior he is. And she ran to Ravana and told him, all this I did and my nose was cut. Why? Because I want to carry away Sita for your sake. Look at the Rakshasas, how they talk to each other, blatant lies. She wanted Rama to be her husband. And they made fun of her, and then finally Lakshmana cut off her nose and ears and sent her screaming into the forest. So she venged and said that I'll get back. It came with Kara and Dushan, the whole army got routed, everybody was killed. Now what to do? She ran back to Ravana and said, all this I did for you because I wanted to carry Sita away and bring it to you. She is the most beautiful personality I've ever met anywhere or seen. Anybody in this whole universe is not like that. And she enraged Ravana's lust. And then Ravana became angry plus lusty. He wanted to get Sita, but then he came to understand that Rama is too powerful. So he went and proposed to, earlier he had already gone one trip to Marichi and said that this is what has happened to, Kara and Doshna, what do you call, my sister has been maimed and all that. Marichi said, don't do that. Don't try to do all this nonsense. Get back and live peacefully. So he went back. And he came back again when he heard from Shurpana, Kara, Doshna, everything, and Sita is very beautiful. Meant for you. He went to Marichi and said, I'm going to execute the plan. And Marichi could see that he's not going to stop at anything. He even told Marichi, I'll finish you if you don't listen to me. I don't need your advice. I want you to become a golden deer. I want you to sport around there. And definitely this female will react like this. She will tell them, get the deer, and you waylay them into the forest. And you scream, oh Rama, oh Sita, oh Lakshmana. Like that you scream and they will, Lakshmana will leave Sita. And he predicted everything that Sita will do. Ravana predicted everything. And it happened exactly like the plan. That's very amazing. Whatever Ravana planned happened exactly. Whatever Maya plans is carried out perfectly by her agents. Those plans happen perfectly. But our devotion service plans may not happen so easily. Always. So sometimes we think that that is better than this because this takes place. That doesn't take place. No, that's not the way to judge it. So Lakshmana was again in such a position. Rama went behind the deer and he had told Lakshmana, don't move from here, don't leave Sita alone. Something is happening, if at all, that's okay. But still we can take the caution. So then when the deer cried, oh, Sita, Lakshmana, save me, like that, purposely. And he died in the Rama's arrow. Sita heard that. She said, did you not hear? Go immediately and save my husband, Rama. Lakshmana did not move. Then she said, what are you not doing anything about it? I'm telling you, please go. So Lakshmana said, I've got an order from your husband that I should not move out from here and should protect you. Then she said, nonsense, that was for a different reason. But now you can hear very clearly Rama is shouting, save me, help me, and you're not going. Lakshmana said, I know the voice of Rama. That's the voice of a demon. That's not Rama. And she said, no, I heard it. It is Rama. I think you are a great charlatan. You are a cheater number one. I think you are waiting to enjoy me and get the kingdom, go back to the kingdom. And now that Rama has died, I will never submit myself to you. You will never get me. You're a wild, dirty creature. You're waiting to enjoy me. You are like that. You're like this. Shot at Lakshmana. It's mentioned Lakshmana could not take this. Said, my dear mother, please, my dear sister, he advised always, do not think like this. I am not like that. Another paradigm caught hold of Sita, and she pounded Lakshmana like nothing from deep inside to outside. And sometimes women take it up, that's it. So Lakshmana had to agree, had to submit, and he left with great reluctance. And Ravana came and carried her away. So when Rama asked him, why did you do this? I told you not to do this. He told Rama that this is what your wife told me. I had no choice. She could not understand. You see? But this is an instance where another paradigm snatched Sita completely. And that is when Ramachandra will be so disturbed. He will know for sure the Rakshasas have taken my Sita away. And he comes back with Lakshmana with great anxiety and he sees, yes, nobody's there. The search for Sita everywhere and never find. Becomes completely lost. And he starts becoming mad, screaming for Sita and looking at everything and getting reminded of Sita. That's what this verse says. What happens to a person who's fully invested in his woman? And material nature will definitely do this to him. Wherever you have invested most, that will be shaken. That will definitely be shaken to teach you a lesson. Tam tam dhunoti bhagavan pumsham sochati yadkrite. The Bhagavatam says, whatever you very carefully invest and build up, your material asset, that only Maya will catch. Dhunoti bhagavan. Through Maya, he will take that and tease you. So it's very difficult journey for a person who's very attached. When we become attached, we have a stake in Maya. We're giving our handle to Maya and Maya holds it. That's the meaning of a stake. If you have a stake, you don't have control over your life. But if you invest in Krishna and remove and disinvest in Maya, you will see that Maya doesn't have the chance to hold you, control you. Mahatmanastu mam partha devim prakriti mashitaha bhajanti ananya manaso. So these situation that is mentioned here, Sita and that of Lakshmana, we get enveloped by these type of situations and we lose ourselves. We take decisions that are wrong. That is why there is Guru. That is why there is association. That is why you must take pains to bounce off what your mind is telling against very many people. And then according to what they say, take the right decision. It may be painful. Karishye vachanam tava. Arjuna also found it painful. He didn't want to fight Dronacharya and Kripacharya and all of them. Bhishma. So, but he did it anyway because that's the right thing to do. That's the right thing to do. We don't go by our mind and what we like. We at least go by our intelligence, which is not clouded. So in these two instances, if you read how Sita denounces Lakshmana, it's very painful how Lakshmana took this. That's why it's mentioned that both in his time as Balarama, he appeared as elder brother to Krishna, and they had a lot of problems. And when he was, younger brother Anuj, for Ramachandra also, he had all these problems. So that's why when he appeared as Nityananda Prabhu, he appeared in a completely different way. He was Ananda, bliss, was very happy when he appeared as Nityananda. So these are a few things about these two instances in the Ramayana, which I think give us a lot of lessons. The one, Rama's perception of Bharata, don't be hasty. Don't conclude too fast about people. You never know what is their real intention. It's always better to be good intentioned for the first. And take a long time and a good amount of deliberation to conclude something. Because it's very easy to conclude the wrong thing. And Maya is wanting you to do it. Right? So there's no hurry. Relationships, our perceptions of people, they all can wait because they need to be built slowly. Right? So if you jump in and take the wrong idea, like Lakshmana jumped in and got the wrong idea of Bharata, you will be the big loser. And Maya wants you to lose. Maya wants you to lose. So always remember, while judging devotees, be extremely careful. Krishna is behind them. Om Tat Sat. Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki. Any question or comment? Only Krishna asks Maharaj how to understand devotees' life who are suffering too much in their life all the time. Well, suffering means two ways of understanding it. Somebody is suffering, his devotion is not fully developed, and he is going through his past karma. When we suffer, we must know that we have given the suffering to somebody else in the past. That's why we are getting it back now. We are not very innocent. The right way of understanding through knowledge is, I am suffering now, and by Krishna's mercy, I am only getting a token of it. But I must have done worse things to somebody who must be suffering the same thing many-fold times because of me. This is the first reflection of a thoughtful, intelligent person who is well-read and educated. So therefore, I shall go through this by depending on Krishna. Etam cha astaya paratma nishtam adhyasitam purvatamair maharshibi aham tarishyami duranta param tamo mukundangri nishevayeva. I shall hold on to the lotus feet of Krishna and wade through this. It's because of my past. Like that, you have to think and do the needful. We can't. That's the reality. But other things to say is like, don't, do this, do that, everything. That's also true. You have to chant Hare Krishna, read Bhagavatam, keep association with devotees. That can help to a great extent also. Okay. Om Tat Sat. Any other question or comment? It's late. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.